Greetings everyone, my name is Jonathan Bailey and I'm from the website Plagiarism Today, which can be found at plagiarismtoday.com. Happy Tuesday, July 3rd, 2012. Tomorrow's July 4th, a holiday here in the United States. I will be off enjoying the day with my wife, so no vlog and furthermore no posting to Plagiarism Today at all. But today is an exciting day. We have to focus on the here and now for a minute because Twitter has released its transparency report following on the heels of Google, which of course has been doing the transparency report for years, but recently got some pretty big press, and especially in copyright circles, for adding DMCA takedowns, giving us an understanding of how common DMCA takedowns were. And basically, it's basically Twitter's doing the exact same thing, giving us a list of the number of requests from government for information, requests to government for removal of content, etc., 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 and also DMCA takedown information, which is what we're going to focus on. And I gotta be honest, I'm a little disappointed in this report, not just in terms of the data that's in it, because where Google actually put a lot of hands-on data, let you know who filed them, what the response was in most cases, what didn't say what URLs were involved, but what domains were involved. We didn't get that information from Twitter. Twitter kept all that under wraps, just gave us a bunch of numbers. And the other thing is there's just not as much here, to be honest with you. I'm looking at the actual table for the copyright notices. Now, Twitter has received 3,378 copyright notices in the past 6 months. That's a lot of notices, don't get me wrong. But compare that to Google, which gets 1 to 2 million in a single month, and you see a huge disparity there. However, let's take a look at the table. I'm going to pull it up here. And what you can see here is, you know, number of copyright takedown notices averages about 500, a little bit over 500 a month. He had one. May was pretty high, and June was a big drop. I don't know what would cause that. Percentage of material was removed. Averages below 50%. I think only 2 months there. You see it was above half, and that's pretty unusual. And host DMCA compliance is usually well above 90. However, Twitter explains this in the blog post, saying that one of the reasons that this is so low is because they get a lot of non-copyright related requests via their copyright form, and that of course skews the results down. User accounts affected about 6,000. This means on average every copyright takedown notice has two accounts involved in it, and I doubt that's actually, most have two. I think most actually have one, and then a handful probably involve a lot of different accounts. But this was what I found interesting. The disparity here, look at this. Tweets removed is totaling 5,275. Media removed 600. That means they've removed about 10 times the number of tweets versus media items. And that's very confusing to me. You see, and the reason I say that's confusing is because I cannot fathom sending a DMCA notice to Twitter over a tweet. I just can't. 140 characters, there isn't going to be a lot that the tweet itself can do to be infringing. And even if it did, by the time you see the tweet, even before you put word one of that DMCA notice to paper, that tweet's obsolete. That's gone. That's off the radar. So the only reason to consider filing a DMCA notice against a tweet that I can see would be a link in the tweet. And at that point, you're better off going after the link. Even if you can't get the link shut down, like it's a Pirate Bay link or something, you can go to Google and get rid of that permanent traffic rather than that temporary one-off tweet traffic. I mean, I guess this might be an attempt to punish Twitter users that are tweeting copyright infringing material, but that seems a bit far-fetched. I can, however, and I have in the past actually sent DMCA notices over media, and as you can see, there's been you can see in that table, there's been a pretty sharp increase. There's only 6 media files removed in January, and I suspect that was like backgrounds and so forth, because sometime between then and now, I don't remember when, they started using pic.twitter.com as the default image host and started baking that in. And now they're doing, the last 2 months they've done over 100 DMCA takedowns for Twitter, for media. And I would expect that number to grow because they're actually building up a pretty large reputation as an image host, and that may be a bigger DMCA issue for Twitter moving forward. All in all, still fascinating, but not nearly as exciting or as interesting as the Google report, just not as much data here, and furthermore, not as much, I guess you would say, activity going on here. It's just it's a very streamlined report, only a few facts to point to, but still fascinating, still interesting that Google would do this. Honestly, none of my DMCA notices are in this. I don't think I have filed a notice with Twitter in the past 6 months. They just don't come up that much, and usually when they do, it's a background or it's an image or it's an avatar. And like I said, that really hasn't been a problem. I haven't seen much of that. Of course, I haven't been doing a lot of work with image copyright holders lately. That could change at any time. But still, fascinating report, worth looking into, and it gives you an idea of maybe what comparable sites are seeing. I mean, you might be able to extrapolate this and take a look at Facebook, for example, even though Facebook's less public nature probably skews the results too. So, just some food for thought. Well, that's all the time I have for today. Thank you very much for joining me, and I will see you guys in 2 days.